Hello, babes. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about the rise of the mean girl. I've noticed for the past few years, especially with social media and how it seems to be celebrated, it's become a major issue and even encouraged to carry this dark energy, pretending as though it's empowering, when really it shows how devious you are. So let's get into it. Welcome to Iconically Iconic. So as I've stated before, for the past few years, especially on apps like TikTok, it seems as though the troll, mean girl, being a rude and nasty, vile person to others has been celebrated. And if you feel a way about this video, well then maybe it's because you are this person. However, what I am about to state in this video may ruffle some feathers. So it's the girls who get online and think being cruel to people are funny and entertaining. And with that always comes the excuses because, well, you know, she had a bad childhood or she had these issues, as if it excuses the awful behavior of these women who have arrested development. So many women have gone out of their way to hurt other women, not caring how it affects that person or the trauma they're putting them through, but just that they think being mean is a badge of honor. The rise of reality TV shows and people being shady increased this behavior because they found it to be entertaining and funny on TV. And the obsession with tea and people spilling other people's tea about people they don't like, or just out of boredom and as an escape from their own lives. But that behavior doesn't translate well in real life, and being shady is not cute, nor is it something to be celebrated. Having banter is one thing. With your friends, you joke around, but being shady is completely different. Those cameras go down, and many times we've heard the anxiety and depression these women have had to deal with after. While it may be entertaining for people to watch women tear each other apart, it takes a toll. While we've always had the mean girls in media, especially speaking as a 90s baby and someone who grew up seeing these kind of characters on TV, however, there wasn't an obsession with them. There were the Blair Waldorfs, the Regina Georges, Heathers, Courtney, and many others. But the one thing that was clear was that they weren't people who you wanted to be and to be celebrated. They were created to show how nasty they were and to show how their behavior affected those around them. They also didn't show that if you come across the right person, there wouldn't be tears and people backing down, but instead an ass whooping that was rightfully deserved. Social media has led people to believe that what you do online can be done in person, that you can be mean, bully, and treat people like they're nothing, and there won't be any consequences. Yeah, okay. Hiding behind the "it was a joke" when that's just a cop-out because you can't handle what comes after, or just simply saying, well, that's just how I am. In real life, when you do things to people, there are consequences, and not everyone plays around the same way you do. Being the mean girl in movies and TV shows can be entertaining, especially when it's an exaggerated in a cartoonish way or meant to teach you a lesson. But in real life, it's not eccentric, it doesn't make you iconic, and it's definitely not cute. What it makes you is unlikable. You carry around a dark energy, and whether you realize it or not, that darkness always comes back to you. Being nasty to people, bullying them, and thinking you're above everyone else doesn't make you powerful, it makes you miserable. And eventually, all that nastiness will catch up with you. At some point, you'll have to look inward after you've run everyone off and no one wants to be around you. Another thing is, a lot of you love to go on social media to bully people, hiding in comment sections, talking about strangers in the most vile way and thinking it's okay. It's not. That behavior screams deep-rooted issues that you refuse to face, so instead you take them out on people you don't even know. Some of you don't have personalities, and I know that sounds harsh, but it is what it is, and it's the truth. Some of you just don't have personalities. You think being mean somehow makes you interesting, but it doesn't. And like I said, it screams that you have deep-rooted issues that you refuse to face, so instead you take them out on people who you don't even know. It also fills up your dark cup when you attack people who have a light inside of them and you want to break their spirit because someone broke yours. Yet, instead of fixing that and working on yourself, you make people your punching bags and your dumping ground for your insecurities. And with the rise of reality TV dating shows, the dark energy and just disgusting, mean, toxic comments and toxic energy has gotten even worse. Now, I don't watch these shows because most of it is fake, and I refuse to waste my energy on things that will piss me off and raise my blood pressure. But I can't ignore what happens online in certain discussions that I see. People form these sick obsessions and parasocial relationships with complete strangers. I'll say it again, complete strangers, people who you have no relation to, whom you've never met. They are complete strangers. And it's different if you're defending someone, after they've been harassed and they're being bullied. But no, it's the other way around. You bully people who don't like the person that you like. Then start harassing women they've never even met. Like, are y'all okay? Are the lights on? Listen, I love Beyonce down. I've went to almost every single Beyonce concert. I love her as an artist. However, what I am not doing is arguing with a bunch of strangers. I think speaking out and defending certain artists or certain people when you have some deranged people attacking them and just being cruel to them or speaking about their children, especially like they do with Beyonce, then that's completely different. Because there is a difference between being parasocial and being a human and sticking up for another human who's being spoken about terribly. But the way some of you act and attack people online over people you have never met, it is ridiculous. There is no way that is normal. That is not something that a normal person does. Like, what kind of psychotic behavior is that? To go out of your way online to harass and stalk people just because you don't like them? You really think that's normal? Nobody talks enough about the rise in mental illness tied directly to this kind of behavior. People glued to their phones 24/7, not forming real connections, living in a virtual world, and convincing themselves they know influencers, celebrities, or reality stars. Then the moment someone disagrees with them, they become completely unhinged. And if the person they idolize is a mean, nasty individual, they absorb that energy and suddenly believe being a mean girl makes it acceptable and is iconic. When, honey, being on TV for 15 minutes, what kind of impact are you making? And people also confuse being infamous with being famous. Being mean just happens to get more attention than being a good person. Troll comments and negativity get more engagement than kindness or support, and people mistake that attention for validation. That's why the internet feels like a toxic cesspool, because it rewards cruelty. But make no mistake about it, being a bitter, mean-spirited person is not something to be proud of. It follows you everywhere, and eventually it comes crashing back on you tenfold. And at the end of the day, being a mean girl isn't powerful. It's not confidence, it's not charisma, it's not leadership. It's a weakness in disguise. And no amount of likes, retweets, or clout can hide the fact that deep down, you're miserable, empty, and rotting behind the mask of your own nastiness. An issue that also needs to be called out is grown women who drag their childish high school behavior straight into adulthood. They walk into the workplace still acting like little girls on the playground, cliquish, petty, and exclusionary. It's "you can't sit with us," whispered gossip, and nasty lies about anyone who doesn't bow down to their little circle. And they hate women who refuse to play along, who won't be mean or treat others like garbage just to fit in.
It's not talked about enough. There's a lot of mean girl behavior going on in the work environments, especially corporate work environments. Mean girl behavior being displayed by the younger women, the older women, all ages. With the younger women, it's to be expected because a lot of them, to be honest, are fresh out of high school, but their mindset is still in high school. And with the older woman, it's very, very sad when it's the older women, because it's like older women having mean girl, high school, middle school behavior. It's just very, very, very disappointing. Like, That's the reason why I make the content that I make, because I'm spreading awareness. I know that there are many women who go through this. I've gone through it. I've experienced it, and many of you, women of all ages. And I just want you to know, I'll be your voice if you feel like you don't have one. I just, most importantly, want you to know that you are not alone, okay? Get in these comments. You are not alone. If you're going through workplace bullying, sabotage in the workplace, a lot of scrutiny in the workplace, you are not alone. Even when the mean girls in your work environment team up and they target you, and you feel like you've tried to go to management, you've tried to be calm, you've tried to do everything, you feel like nothing is being done, let me tell you something. You are not alone. And the reason why I make the content that I make is so that you can understand the psychology of why these women do this. Reason being, when you understand their mindsets and the psychology, that gives you leverage and power, okay? When you understand their little tactics and what they're trying to do, and when they try to sabotage you and set you up, it's because these mean girls and this mean girl behavior is really insecurity and insecure women. And the reason why they target you and they pick at you and they nitpick and, you know, they do things like they go tattle on you, they try to sabotage you, right? Or they don't train you properly to sabotage you, right? They're setting you up for failure. They do this because of jealousy. They're jealous of your light. They're jealous of your intelligence. They're jealous of your confidence. When they do this, they target you because of jealousy. These are insecure women. Mean girl behavior, insecurity. Insecurity, the bigger the threat you are, the more they're going to try to attack. And I know how you feel. That makes you hate going to work. You really dislike your job, because sometimes it's not the job, it's the people at the job. People don't quit jobs, they quit people. And I'm going to be the one to tell you, you have to do what's best for you and your mindset, for your peace of mind. Your peace comes first. If it's getting so bad where you can't take it, it is okay to leave a job because you feel like it's toxic. It's okay to quit a job.
And when they can't control that person, they start rumors, they spread lies, and they try to tear her down. Don't be an introvert with these kind of people, because it makes them insane. It drives them crazy that they don't know anything about you, that you come into work, hi, bye, good morning, good night, that's it. Oh, they're making up all kind of things in their mind as to why you don't speak, as to why you're so quiet. Being quiet and to yourself seems to cause more issues than a person who is messy and always stirring up drama. Why? Because on the inside, they're tormented. And I am so tired of people blaming their childhood trauma for being vile adults. Yes, trauma can shape you, but it is not a free pass to be a disgusting human being. If you're self-aware enough to say, I act like this because of my childhood, then you're self-aware enough to get help. Instead, many of you weaponize your pain, use it as a shield, and wield it as an excuse to be cruel. Plenty of people have gone through worse and choose not to make everyone else suffer for it. And what you don't realize is that your nastiness kills sympathy. Nobody wants to feel sorry for you or to hear your story, and nobody wants to be around you when you treat people like dirt. You make yourself unlikable. It's not your trauma, because people will usually sympathize with people who have gone through something. But your cruelty is the reason why people can't stand you. And a lot of this behavior comes from women so brainwashed by social media, TV, and movies that they start thinking being a mean girl is a personality trait. Some of you really can't differentiate real life from a scripted storyline, and it definitely shows. You mimic toxic characters like it's aspirational, and you say to yourself, well, they got away with it. It's on TV, so that means it must not be that bad. Girl, that's TV. In real life, those kind of people are despised. I am not talking about that though. I am talking about cruel, mean people. And to be clear, I am not talking about the women who set boundaries, are firm, and don't tolerate BS from anyone, because you guys already know I speak about that on this channel very frequently when it comes to your boundaries and not tolerating anyone's nonsense and cutting people off if need be. The truth is, nobody respects a grown woman who still acts like a bitter high schooler. People tolerate you at best. I do believe that TV shows and movies like Mean Girls, Gossip Girl, and many others have made people think this kind of behavior is acceptable because it gets glamorized. The mean girl trope is often presented as iconic or entertaining, but in reality, it sends the wrong message. It makes cruelty seem appealing, especially to people who may not have a strong sense of self and start to believe that being mean is a way to be noticed or liked. When you really think about it, Why would anyone want to be friends with someone who's nasty, who treats others poorly, and who steps on people whenever it benefits them? In the real world, that kind of behavior doesn't build friendships. It just creates resentment and disdain. And the friendships are not real friendships that they do have. It's followers, it's yes men. The issue is that the media often makes these queen bee characters likable or even admirable. They become fan favorites, their one-liners get repeated, and their attitudes are praised. But what's rarely shown is the impact on the people around them. We don't see the aftermath of how damaging that behavior can be, or the way it leaves others hurt and diminished.
Or how they should be ready to be prepared for this type of environment. So I went to Miami this past week. Everything was cool the first 4 days. The last day was weird. Cool. So the girl I went with, only reason I know her is because one of my LA homegirls that does content said we should link up. Cool. We linked up. The first time we linked up, good vibes. I trusted her enough to be like, if we go to Miami, it'll be cool. So if y'all want more details, comment, but I'm just gonna get straight into it. Long story short, we get there. Literally, as soon as I walked in the house, she was like, this is my alcohol. I'm not sharing with nobody, and it is what it is. Okay, well, if you get money like that, or you have money, like, that shouldn't be a problem. So what do? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna order a bottle. So I ordered her own bottle, and I ordered the girls that were there a bottle too, because they gave me shots as soon as I walked in. So the next day, like, she's just complaining the entire time, like, I'm not planning nothing, like, I don't want to be the host anymore, just complaining about every single thing. Now, she had already made it pretty clear that she wasn't going to go to eat anywhere while we were in Miami. Okay, that's fine. Like, if we want to go eat, we'll just go eat. So I ordered some bananas because I'm trying to still watch my weight and be healthy on the trip. I noticed my bananas were gone because she walked over and grabbed my banana and put it in her mouth, started eating it. Keep in mind, you just complained about how this is your food, this is your stuff, don't touch anybody's stuff, but you're eating my shit. I'm not petty, but I was just like, hey girl, like, why are you eating my bananas? And she was like, oh, these are yours? I mean, clearly you didn't buy it, so obviously it's not yours. So needless to say, as that goes on throughout the trip, she's just sprinkling little, like, negative ass comments to the point where, like, all the girls were noticing it. At one point, she literally had the nerve to tell me I was jealous of her because we have the same color on. It's getting very insecure. And now she was a tall ass, like, very tall ass girl. I'm short. So she tried to say, like, how's the weather down there? And I was like, I thought she meant how's the weather in Houston. So I was like, oh, I think it's raining right now. I'm very oblivious to negativity because I'm a very positive person. So once I realized she was, like, being mean to me and singling me out, I kind of just started paying, like, more attention. Now, we went out one of the days, and one of her friends came with us, and this was a male friend, and I guess I insulted him by asking a general question. The question was, I asked him and his friends, had a man ever tried to get at them? I guess they assumed that was me accusing them of being gay, but I'm bisexual, so I was just asking a general question so we could have conversation. Now, that must have upset her because the next day she let me know that I was not invited to go on the boat with her and her friend. But she invited the girl that I had been hanging out with the whole trip on the boat. Okay. Long story short, I was like, F it. I packed all my stuff, got a hotel, and I just flew home the next day because my flight was the next day. But needless to say, she unfollowed me off everything. And I told her to a phrase how I felt about her, so that's why I'm ready to make this video. But I will literally never girls trip again with a mean girl.
And that's something I think shows and movies need to do more of. Show both sides. Show not just the appeal of the character, but the harm they cause and the consequences that come with it. Because in real life, that's exactly what happens. The energy you put out, especially if it's negative, does come back around. Media has a lot of influence, as we all know, and if it continues to glamorize mean-spirited behavior without showing the cost, it encourages people to believe that cruelty equals confidence, when in truth, it only leads to isolation and backlash. Maybe not in the moment, but it happens in the years to follow. It takes absolutely nothing to be kind to people. We won't all get along with everyone. We won't like everyone, but going out of your way to treat other women mean, especially when women already go through enough, is not okay. We all have our moments of being upset and not always saying the nicest things, especially when someone does us wrong. But bullying people and taking your frustrations out on people makes you a horrible person. And if you're friends with someone like this, you need to check them. Also, being friends with women like this, their karma hits you too because you're in agreement with them by hanging out with them. Also, I want to make something clear. Just because a person who was mean to you has changed doesn't mean you are required to forgive them. You are not required to forgive someone who treated you horribly. And with that being said, this video has come to an end. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Also, make sure your notification bells are turned on so that you always know when I upload. And I will catch you guys in the next one.